Welcome back, everyone. I'm Kia,
And I'm Cal.
and we are the Manga Mommies, a podcast to do everything with manga and sometimes our lives being a little bit in between. So, as always, would you kindly get a drink, take a seat, and let's chat? Yay! Poofy hair.
You're very pretty today.
Thank you. Today, we'll be talking about how to start your manga journey. Part 2-ish. Somewhat.
Expansion.
The best manga. Yeah, expansion. The best manga for beginners. Love it. Want to take it away?
Sure. So these are our recommendations based on what we have read. We've obviously left some things out, not trying to traumatize. As much as it's fun to be like, hey yo, read this because it's really good. If you've never ever experienced manga before, the last thing you should probably read is something going to scar you for life. Not good. Don't do it. I don't recommend. With that being said.
But do it. But do it!
Yeah.
Live your life! How does that mean go? Live your life!
Just do it!
Do it!
So I have my recommendations sort of broken down by genre, just because that's how my brain works and it's a little bit easier for me. So you have Kodomo, which is your children's manga, which is stuff like Pokemon being the obvious one, but there's also Digimon or Astro Boy if you're looking for like super old school. That's always a really fun one. And there's also Doraemon. That one I find is really cute too.
Oh, yeah. That one is, yeah.
I always feel like that one's a really good one. Plus, you can pair that one with the anime, and you kind of get the full experience on that one.
Yeah, like you said, Pokemon. I was more into Digimon at first, and then I rolled over into Pokemon.
Yeah. I mean, it was something where, like, because a lot of the way that Kodomo manga is very like straightforward to the point, teaching good morals, like easy to follow plot lines. It's sort of like, your typical like character improvement without all the twists. So whatever you're gonna listen to or watch is going to be very like straightforward narrow path. Let's make you a better human being.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, even the villains in a lot of it are, they have redeeming qualities. Pokemon, Jesse and James.
Though still, that whole Ash is in a coma kind of fits in with the very first with that. Really does, because you look at it, and I know I'm going to side rant for some of these anyway. If you look at it, when they actually get introduced, their phrasing changes. It changes as the seasons go, but it doesn't. But I always thought it was weird that their motto was to protect the world from devastation. Like, aren't they supposed to be evil and like want to kidnap your Pokemon to use for
I mean, I
domination
guess
of the world?
it's subjective on what they consider devastation.
Yeah,
Because
to
they
unite all
kind of have
people
a
within our
very unique
nation.
model. Because if I remember correctly, it's and then it's like unite all peoples within our nation.
Yeah, to unite all peoples within our nation, to denounce the evils of truth and love, to extend our reach to the stars above. Jesse, dreams. Yeah, like it changes a bit because they don't say prepare for trouble until after
Yeah.
he's electrocuted. So like it's a subtle change. I don't know. It's just for me personally. I always thought that would have been an interesting concept, and then he from a coma. He wins. See, that's what I wanted. I wanted again another spoiler when it comes to Pokemon. So at the end of it, finally, because they finally actually fucking just ended Ash's era, and like I wanted him to like, oh, he won. Finally, he's a master of them all. But then he wakes up from a coma. Like it reverts back to day one, and he wakes up in the hospital or something. Or he wakes up. That'd been hilarious. But that's just me.
Let's see, that is a cruel twist of fate that would not be in a Kodomo manga.
I know. I can have dreams.
That's 100% like, yo,
Yet,
that's
yet
that's
they can do that, but yet they can kill off Ash like 6 ways to Sunday.
Mhm.
Make him into a ghost. Literally, actually.
Follows a straightforward timeline. Death is a fact of life. Death by electrocution of your Pokemon because you tried to force it into a ball is an interesting way to go, but hey, to each their own. We don't poke a shame
Yeah.
in this house.
I don't know. That's always been my favorite Pokemon was Pikachu anyway. And it's like apparently a cliche to everybody. They're like, no, it's not. You actually have an actual Pokemon that's your favorite. No, Pikachu's always been my favorite. The attitude little chubby brat in the beginning was my favorite and will always be my favorite because I am that chubby brat. I
Yeah,
won't do it. I'm not gonna do it. You can't make me.
I know. That's what I love about it.
I am a brat.
So, my next set of recommendations are for shonen, which is more geared towards teenage boys. The very popular ones are like Dragon Ball or Jujutsu Kaisen. They're great picks. Full Metal Alchemist is one that I really recommend. That one, the manga and the anime, both fantastic. Kyo's personal favorite is One Piece.
It is not. No, it is not. There is not a one there. No. I may have one copy back here somewhere. Yeah. But
Mhm.
that was because like it was like a fluke. I didn't even buy it. Like someone got it for me for like Christmas or here's a manga. But no. Like, it should end a long time ago. And yet they take away my things that I do like that should have kept going.
Feel that.
Mm. But I mean the big three, unless you're really like trying to put Dragon Ball into it, which would make it the big four, there's a big fight with that. What do you mean Dragon Ball's in it? It came before Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece. So it's not considered in the timeline, it's not considered one of the big three. Granted, I would think it would be considered the big four, but it's how they came out.
Yeah, I debated whether or not I wanted to put Bleach in there, but at the same point, I feel like if you're starting out, Bleach is not necessarily a great way to go because if you have Summit Fever, good luck catching up.
Well, I mean that's they all have their quirks. Bleach is one of the ones that did die out pretty quickly, but that was something to do with a fandom mixed up and how they stopped. Not really the manga, but the anime. And a lot of people don't read the manga. Again, that's why we exist with very little fan. So uh, it's a starter. I mean, it is technically considered a starter because if you actually liked the others and you wanted something a little bit more mystical, I would go for it. Bleach is not bad.
No, 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 no. The whole reason that it knocked itself off the
If
list for
you
me was the length of it.
the length of
Like
it, but then that would be One Piece too. One Piece is still going.
it's
You're
one of
doing that
those.
just to piss me off.
Yeah, I did. 100%.
Yeah,
I
hundred
just put that
percent. It
in
had
there.
nothing to do with your list. I know it wasn't on your list. I knew it's not on your list.
No. Yeah. I had to throw that in there because you love it so much. I just had to remind you it exists. It's okay. We can move on.
Fans hating me one day, like, other it's just amazing. They go like sit me down and like put my eyeballs open and make me watch that shit.
Like, why'd she die? Oh, well, she ran her mouth to Kyo one too many
Um,
times, and Kyo just had enough of her shit.
yeah. Another one in that area would be also like I have a personal list of mine that I'll list separately, but it's not in categories. It's just a list of my own preferences. But adding to it, one of them would be Yu Hakusho. That's one of the also that got it didn't get as popular as the others. The others outshined it significantly. Um, but it is good to read.
No, I mean, not everything that's incredibly popular is
Well,
top of the
you
crumb, really. Because I mean, some things it's like, the anime is better than the manga for continuity purposes or whatever, you know, easier to follow or whatnot. But I mean, some of them it's like you be prepared to sink years of your life into getting current.
now, granted, they started coming out with the bigger volumes with a lot of them too. So if you're a fast reader, you can get through the big three, technically four. Because you can count Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball, it goes on. So, you can speed through a lot of those because a lot of those are scenes that don't really have they're pretty. They don't really have dialogue. They're powering up or souping up or stuff like that. Like I think you can knock those out pretty quickly. And probably if I sat down and actually enjoyed One Piece, it probably would be me just speed reading at that point. Or you could be like me with Naruto and just read up until they finish school age and then be like, tapped out, done. I never finished after their school age years. So, and I heard it got pretty intense and I probably should, but and then Baruto or Burrito or whatever.
There is
I
no
always get
shame in
hungry when I
putting
see
something
that.
down.
Oh yeah, no,
For
100%.
everybody
You knew
else
that.
out there
That's
who
fine.
feels like they need to finish something completionist,
Trust me. Some of the stuff you really have to be like committed into it or really into the story to keep going with it. And some of them are like on my list. Some of them are pretty short. So like our manga of the month. It's only 3 volumes. What? They never made an anime. What? They made a live action. Actually, two. Technically, two. Let me do live actions. So there.
not
The
everything
more
is
you know.
crazy long.
Nope. Not
So
everything has a manga. Not everything has an anime. Sometimes they
lucky if
stick
they
to
have
just light
both.
novels. Yeah, they may just be in light novel form. Means you have to
So
read more words.
So I had the next category was shoujo, which is teenage girls, and we have done manga of the month on my first one, which is Fruits Basket. Love me some Fruits Basket. It is simple to follow. It is, heartwarming. It does play at the emotions, but it's not some like emotional thriller that's gonna just crush you. Um, I also had Oron High School Host Club because again, I love like this is my genre. It really is. Um I had Nana and I had Paradise Kiss under here as well for starters.
Okay, I see that. Um, so some other ones for me would be Card Captor Sakura or anything by Clamp. Anything by Clamp. And I'm saying anything by Clamp. And it's probably for like multiple genres here because I think there's some that actually stand out in some of the others. But anything by Clamp. 100%. It's hard to find them. Clamp, Clamp was a big one. Um, Gals is a big one. Uh, Mars, that one's good too. Uh, I like to do the classics. Citrus, Loveless, anything really boy love tends to be more for the ladies. Um, also with girl love. Um, but I know there's a topic with that, so I'll do anything that's lovey dovey with a story. Hanakimi, that one's a good one.
For seinen, for male readers, I had Helsing, Tokyo Ghoul, and Trigun.
Trigun. Yeah.
Trigun. Yeah,
Full
that
Metal
one.
Alchemist is in there too. Full Metal Alchemist. I gotta fix my headsets. Um, gonna have like the disappearing headsets. No, it didn't connect. Say something. You laughed, but it didn't pick it up, so I worried. Um, yeah, Trigun, um, some of my other ones would be I know I had other ones on here.
Had to go a little bit fantasy with that. Like, you know what? I'm gonna pull up some
Yeah.
Hellsing. I'm gonna pull up some Trigun. Like, let's rock it out
Yeah,
with
like
Bash.
Trigun, Get Backers is one of them. Ronnie Kenshin, uh, there's some My Hero Academia, like Chainsaw Man. That one's I recommend it because it's one of the newish ones. But at the gate, probably not beginner friendly, but I 100% do recommend it.
But like
Death Note.
there's a lot that I could have plugged in, but it was like trying to think of something that's nice. Ease yourself in. That was where I
And
was
you
struggling
know,
with a lot of it.
you don't even have to own these. Like you can go and find them on manga apps. Um, paid subscriptions and stuff like that to read.
You're lucky
Piracy is
enough.
not really recommended, but if there is something that's really rare and there is only that out there and you don't want to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to find the manga, which I can completely understand if it's that old, then you may have to pirate. But I do not recommend piracy. I am never for piracy. Granted, I do give you options of things for free to read, uh, but it is only for you to see if you like the manga to go and venture forth and find it on your own terms, not for you. Like disclosure on that, because apparently something that I am.
If you're lucky enough, your local library might carry it.
Yeah, maybe your library, maybe old border somewhere, buried and lost in time. Borders has been gone for years. Borders lost in time. Everybody thought that uh, Blockbuster was gone until they were like, "There's one in existence still," and you're like, "What?" So,
And you go there just for the novelty.
well, it's sad when they don't even like ID you because of like that card or a Borders card. Like, it's pretty sad. You got it on your keychain still. They're like, "I don't need to ID you. I know you're like from the 1800s." Full Metal Alchemist is another one. One Punch Man.
One Punch
One
Man's
Punch
good.
Man's funny. Yeah, that one's funny.
Really good. Being dressed up as him for Halloween with ball cap and everything.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was
Yeah.
fun.
There was commitment. There was commitment.
That sounds like it.
Alright, what else do I have here? I have Josai. So this is for female readers. I have Princess Jellyfish, Honey and Clover, or Midnight Secretary, all of which were really interesting. So check that one out. And then our lovely little subcategory. So we have Yaoi, which is the relationship between two male characters, and I had Gravitation and Harukaze no Etranger. Those ones are kind of fun. And I know I butchered that, and I am not a Japanese speaker. Um, and then we have Yuri, which is the relationship between two female characters. And this one is, I loosely lump it in here, um, but it is one of my personal faves, and that's Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. I am obsessed. Obsessed. I love the anime. I love the manga. It is funny, it is lighthearted, it is just goofy all around. Um Beauty and the Beast girl, and I put Citrus in here.
Yeah, Citrus, Bloom Into You is a big one. Um, As for boy love, there's Loveless, there's Gravitation. Um, there's a lot more. I know there's more on my shelves, and I'm just not thinking about it. And then there's some that kind of border the line a bit. More fandoms pair off on a lot of those other ones too. I know Sayuki, even though they are all straight men, there is fandom that pairs them both to each other's, to all four boys in two different pairings, which I get. There's the way they spread them out, and their backstories are all pretty damn dark. So, um, it's not on my list for beginners because it is more Journey to the West. It's it can be for beginners. I mean, I love it, but it's one of those that the story can get a little deep in some places that I don't think it's really for beginners. Granted, you are the one to judge your own. We just give opinions. Um,
It's kind of how I feel about Citrus. I'm like, it gets real heavy at times, like
yeah,
real heavy at times, but like overall, it's a great read to kind of get your toes wet.
yeah. Like I would recommend to a degree Life, but there's self harm in it. Like highly self harm. Like this is the entire manga, but I don't recommend that for a beginner. Berserk is really good story wise, but I do not recommend it for a beginner. I actually had someone recently that wanted to purchase Berserk, and I gave them my opinion. I said that it is nothing like the anime. Going out of the gate, nothing like the anime. You were in it. You were in it deep in from the beginning. So I highly recommend you go to a third party wherever you can find it, because I know you can still find it. Because they re-released it and stuff. So like I know you can still find it legally. So go try the first 3 books online. Then decide if you wanna actually put the money into it. It's worth your collection, and it really is, but it's not worth it if you're not gonna read it. I don't recommend buying manga just to have it on your shelves and not actually try to read it.
Exactly. Um, I know it's really randomly off topic, but um, it's like I reincarnated as a slime.
Yeah.
That one is on my read deeper list, and I've seen the anime, and I'm like, all around, pretty cute. Pretty
Mhm.
cute. How to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon. That's another fun one. And like not crazy deep, not crazy difficult to follow, very, 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 very simple.
Yeah. I didn't
Is
hear
it is
you.
there any that I missed that you want to talk about?
Oh, so I know my list is mixed between some of yours and that we talked about already, but I also have, like, my own personal list when it comes for beginners. Um, so that would be Death Note, always Fruits Basket, Oran High Host Club, big one, big one. Hanakimi, yeah, Hanakimi's one. Um, I would say, because this is another one that I have that's dear to my heart, but I always pronounce it wrong, ish. Uh, Corey Cornell. Um, but that one actually has weight in it. So no. And it finished around the time Twilight came out. So I don't know if she stole from it a thing that's in Twilight in printing. Because in a way, like there's like a friendship of 3 at some point, and like 2 of them get together, they have a kid. Well, they ask him, and again, spoilers if you 100% spoilers, like just skip it. Um, but it's old. So like they ask him if he'll ever find someone, and he flat out makes a comment that he will. He's waiting on someone, and it was their daughter. It would be on my list. It's not. It's good in the aspects of what the story is, but there's still aspects that I do not recommend for a beginner, especially if you don't know uh, triggers. I guess trigger warning. I forgot about that too. I may put that in the beginning. Trigger warning. Trigger. Okay. So back to back to the list. Black Butler, Trigun, Apothecary Diaries, which we did review. Spy X Family, we reviewed. Farron, Beyond the Journey's End. That one's been another popular one here lately. Then you have Chainsaw Man, 20th, 20th Century Boys. I tried to speed in that one. Then you got the big three, One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach. Yu Yu Hakusho, Bloom Into You, which is a big one for a lot of beginners with Yuri. Then you have the Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, not the other ones. I don't want you to watch or read or any of that first. Go to the originals. It's better. Now for Dragon Ball Z, manga's great, but if you actually watch the anime, I would highly recommend the abridged version for American English. That's great. It's a good laugh. Then you have One Punch Man, My Hero Academia, Full Metal Alchemist, Demon Slayer, Cardcaptor Sakura, but anything by Clamp, like anything at all that you can find by Clamp, just by Clamp, read it. Midori Days, that's a big one. Mars, Gravitation, Full Moon, leave myself like Inuyasha, Gals, Loveless, Citrus, and most, if not all, anything to do with sports. I'm talking like all the sports, like the swim ones, the soccer ones, the baseball ones. If you're into sports, those are great to have. They deal with friendship and challenge and acceptance. My favorite personally is baseball, and it's Princess Nine. But that is really hard to find in manga, like 100%. You can go watch the anime. Like, I highly recommend go watching it now on Crunchyroll. But yeah, let's move for beginners. I left some stuff out because it's hard to find because it didn't finish in America. So,
Fair. I mean, we are
and
gonna do
Trainman.
an episode
Trainman's in there too.
eventually of like, top tens. So
Oh, you know what? Ooh, I may have to give you a list and make you like now, Kyo, you got to bring that down. I said 10, not 150. I'm like, ah.
Well, I mean, top 10 best, top 10 worst, top 10 like must read, top 10 burn. Top 10s. So we can lump more in there.
Like I said, it's a list, but it's somewhere to start. And it's kind of an all over the place genre. I don't particularly, I like all genres. I'll try anything once. Like one time. I'm gonna get heat from it one day. Somebody's gonna get on there and like threaten my life. I know it's gonna happen. They're gonna threaten my life because I don't like one. You're allowed to like and dislike what you want. You do not have to agree with me.
Sometimes fandoms are toxic, and we talked about this.
Yes, 100%. And I'm still waiting for the day.
They're gonna find us. I'm gonna memorialize our first death threat. I'm gonna put it on a plaque back here somewhere.
There you go. That's even if I check our accounts. I usually don't. You know how many
death threat.
You know how many emails I have gotten of like places that sell merchandise already wanting to sell merchandise from us. Yeah. I'm like, I have nothing to
You have merch?
I have
I
nowhere to
only
sell
have
it
coffee.
to. It's because we've made, like we've grown quite a bit in, like, less than a year, so I guess we're flagging stuff, and that's why they're sending us stuff. But I was just like, "Okay."
I mean, I would not be opposed if certain manga distributors started wanting us to review manga. Send it
That would be
in.
nice. That would be great. I think y'all should. I really do. I will read it, and I will give you a review. You don't even have to be a manga of the month. We can do, like, a manga of the week or but we're not that special. We're not that special.
Not yet.
I made them uncomfortable for, like, 10 minutes of me just staring in the camera.
It's into their souls. Into
I'll
them.
do it. Do it. I'm not gonna post
That's gonna be the thumbnail.
just me aggressively going toward the camera.
Aggressively, this much of your face staring into the camera, and I'm just over here like,
Do it.
if you made it this far in the episode, we want to say thank you. We couldn't have done this without your support. If you'd like to subscribe and become an official Manga Mommies member, the link will be in the show notes. For the manga of the month, the PDF, copy, or free website is located in the description below. If you feel up to it, like, subscribe, and share our podcast so we can find more people just like you. We hope you have a great rest of your day, whatever time that happens to be, and we can't wait to see you next week.
Stay tuned, and thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.